Hey guys, good evening. Tony Pesha here with Ruth Mayne. I'm coming to you live from New York, and Ruth is in Washington State. Ruth, I'm absolutely excited tonight. Yeah, there's a lot of things that is going on now lately with me of really and truly understanding where am I going. And I believe a lot of people out there are lost. They are completely lost. And I think that they do have a heart in the right place, but working with the right people is the key. So tonight we're going to be talking about the success principle and what are among millions of the things out there, what's the one that is the most important. I believe it's the truth, but we're going to talk about that. Ruth, good evening. How are you?
I am good, Tony. How are you? I'm still unpacking. I actually, it is the middle of February. So today I have started my seedlings for my garden. And that's always a great time of year for me because I love gardening.
Absolutely. And that's something that, you know what? I'm not a really winter guy. I like skiing. I like to go hit those black diamonds and everything else. But I'm more to that open, clear days where I can just walk out and not to have a lot of clothes on me, especially in New York. I don't like that.
In New York, the concrete jungle, you have to wear clothes everywhere you go there.
I know, right? Isn't that something? So guys, listen, I really want to do something special tonight. And this is going to come from my experience that I still did not achieve that rank that I wanted to in network marketing. And it's not about the ranks, but the level of success that I believe that is going to replace whatever I have achieved so far in my other life, in my life on the side. And as I was going through, there was ups and downs, there was right things and good things, there was startups and there was endings and there was crying and laughter. It was a lot of different things that I went through. But Ruth, and I'm so glad that you are here tonight with us because we're going to talk about something that is extremely important, and that is the leadership. And what is the success principle out of all of the things out there that we can purchase, whether they are motivational tapes, whether they are specific formulas to the specific test that you are trying to do, whether if it's a mental, physical, or just being a great speaker and how to learn to be a great speaker. There's so many things involved. But to cap all that and put it in the one important factor, I would say, Ruth, that the most important thing is for anyone to achieve the success is to be attached to the person that has already done it. A person that has a know-how, what needs to be done. As we went through the life from day one we were born, we attached to our parents. They know, they've been there, they've done that. So in order for us to be successful in our personal life, I believe that the parenthood is very important as a leader to teach somebody else what to do and give them the shortcuts without them going through the hardship or trying to find out in themselves. Because I believe, Ruth, that you don't have long enough life that you can find out everything by yourself. You need to be told. And guys, Ruth Mayne has been in the industry for quite some time, but among other things, I think that she's a phenomenal person as a person to work with. And what better things to do to put those two things together? Professional work and somebody who cares. And Ruth, I'm extremely honored tonight to be here because I'm learning from you, and all of the things that I was looking for, I found in our relationship because we have all of the factors in place. And I am so honored to learn from you. So Ruth, due to your extensive knowledge and experience, as you were starting, how important was for you to be connected to the right leaders so you can learn from them, you can master the leadership and learn the success formula that it worked for you to come wherever you are tonight. So, Ruth, if you don't mind sharing that with us tonight.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you. I'm humbled and honored to be here today. Are you getting feedback, or is it just me?
I am not getting any feedback at all.
Okay, now it's gone. So, back when I started in this industry, and we've talked about this before, you don't grow up and say, gee, I'm going to become a network marketer. Although nowadays there are some kids that are saying, I'm going to grow up and follow my mom's and dad's footsteps in direct sales. So, but back in the day, you just didn't do that. And we didn't have all the technology that we have now when I started. So we were constantly meeting at our upline's house or at a restaurant or somewhere for trainings, for get-togethers, for all kinds of things, because you couldn't communicate like we can. You're in New York and I'm here in Washington State, and we're communicating every day, several times a day. And that just didn't happen back then. So it was very, very important that you followed the leader. And whatever your leader did, you did, especially if they were successful. Then technology hit. And, all of a sudden I noticed everybody became a leader, whether they had accomplished anything or not. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I think everybody has to follow the beat of their own drum. However, what was important to me at that point in time as well was to stay plugged in to what was working, and knowing that no man or woman can be an island. We don't know everything. You started the conversation out tonight talking about there's no way for all of us to know everything. It's just not going to happen. But we each have our strong points. And so what I found to be successful is making sure that I plugged in to the people that knew what to do in the areas that I couldn't, wouldn't, or didn't know. And that way, number one, I learned. Number two, my team continued to grow. Number three, it's duplicatable.
Mm-hmm.
In direct sales today, these days, or one of the problems, is that everybody is, for lack of a better term, a little bit on the defensive. And there's good reason for that. You and I talked about that earlier today. If you plug in a team to someone that seems to be doing well, but that person then leaves that company, and you've now exposed them and given them all the information on all of your team members, then bad things happen. And we've seen that happen in this industry time and time again. And it's a crying shame, because all you do is hurt yourself in the end, because you give yourself a bad reputation. So like you and I were talking about earlier, is you've got to have a system that allows people to follow the leader so that you don't get stuck in a rut of, I don't know how to expose, or I can expose, but I can't close, or I can expose and close, but I need somebody to go through all of the in-between stuff for me. And then you have the brand newbies that they're just ignorance on fire. They don't know what to do. And having a system where we can all come together, like a Google Hangout, for instance, where we can all come together and get the same information, that is critical. Hear what I'm saying, the same information. Daisy chains don't work, and there's a reason for that. Have y'all ever played daisy chain, where the first person whispers something in the second person's ear, and it goes down the daisy chain, and when it gets back to the first person, it's something totally different? Mm-hmm. Because some people put their own spin on it. They may think they're doing well, they may think they're helping, and in some cases they are, and in other cases they're not. So when you can all plug into a system where you can hear the same message consistently and over time persistently, because remember, people have to hear a message a minimum of 7 times usually before they take action. And if you're not getting them a consistent message, what happens is they get confused and then they just bow out. And the last thing we want people to do is bow out. So we want to make it simple, consistent, persistent, and the repetitive, meaning you and I can do it in our sleep. For instance, I can give out this link, and this is the only link I have to remember. Give out this link and just use the product, share my story, give out the link. Use the product, share my story, give out the link. It really is that simple. And for those that want to venture out on their own, some are successful, some are not. We all know that's just human nature. Some are successful and some are not. The biggest thing that I can say is what you are doing duplicatable by the masses? Because if it's not duplicatable by the masses, then really the only person it's serving is who? You. If the weakest link in your chain, i.e., the brand newest person in your business, cannot do what you are doing, it is not duplicatable. And then you have to have it affordable to everybody. And so when you come into a business, people have to understand that, yes, they are going to have to spend some money, but you can't make it so expensive that most people can't do it. And that's what we're here to talk about today is, okay, so how do we get plugged into a system like that? What kind of system is it? Is it duplicatable and affordable for everybody? And that's it in a nutshell, Tony.
Well, absolutely, Ruth. And, as I'm listening to you, I'm going back in time and I'm trying to recalculate exactly, where and how I was conducting the business. And, some of the things I was right, some of the things I was wrong. Not that I was wrong in the sense that I was doing the wrong things. I was just doing it wrongly. And this was based on my own personal understanding what was best for me. And then I was trying to duplicate myself to somebody else. And you know what? That's impossible. I am totally different than anybody else out there. But if we have a message, a system, a goal that it needs to be, it's like a passing a basketball or just a regular ball from one player to another, from one player to another, and for the last one to actually just kick it into the goal, we can have a chain reaction of team playing with the same ball. Because if we do have that ball pass from one person to another, and then we skip this one, and then we give somebody else different ball, and then we give somebody else that it's a square ball and he's trying to shoot it, that's not going to roll back, good into the goal. So everything has to be consistent. And as you said before, that system, and I agree with that, if we have something that it's duplicatable, that's the nature of our business. So for all of you listening tonight, for all of you that they are veterans or new or never heard about this before, we all know that we are in the business of duplication. And we are in a people's business. Ruth, one thing that I have a problem with is that we're finding ourselves going from good old-fashioned way of people sharing their excitement of using the products and passing that to somebody else, something that we do every single day. We enter the digital world of confusion, a world that we don't understand. We don't know how to manipulate that digital world in order to benefit us on the mega scale. Some people do, and I'll call that, and the rest of the world calls it, affiliated marketing. My personal perception is and understanding, we are not internet marketers or affiliated marketers. We are network marketers. And network marketing is person to person. However, we can use technology to speed up our message to as many people as we can in the shortest period of time. And that message has to be consistently same to the next person without altering it, because it's very important for somebody that already made a success not to alter that formula at all. This is exactly what you need to do. This is how do you do it, and this is your end line result if you do exactly that. So with that being said, Ruth, I find myself in the predicament of saying, why am I not millionaire by now? And what I mean by now, I've been doing this for about past six years, and it was on and off, and my life kind of got on the way of having all these excuses not to do it. But why am I not millionaire today? And it's a very simple answer to that. And I'm not questioning it anymore. My good friend and my mentor that I respect very, very much is a veteran in the industry, one of the top 5 earners in the history of network marketing, made tremendous amount of money, told me that in order for me to be successful, I have to do 2 things. Use the product, share the story, or show the plan. Use the product, share the story, show the plan. And I asked him a simple question: how many times do I have to do that? And his answer was very simple, straightforward: till you don't have to do it anymore.
Yep.
I don't know the answer to that. So you keep on doing this until you don't have to do it anymore. And then if you stop doing it, you can pause it, because this business will never fail you. You cannot quit this business. The business is going to always be there. The only person that the only individual that can quit is you.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no reason for you to quit. The only thing you have to do is believe in the product, use the product, and share your story. And this is where the technology comes in. We are going to help you with a system that we have to share your story to masses. And so we can actually do this a little bit faster, but the message has to be uniformed in such a way that it's easy to be duplicated to your next person that is going to come work with you. And if he's going to have tons of questions of how this marketing plan works, how the product is developed, how the company has achieved the success, whatever it is, who are all of the marketing experts or CEOs or the VPs of all of these, we're not in business for that. We're in business of 2 things: using the product and sharing the story. That's it. It's all what it comes down to. Let's not complicate. And who better to learn than from the people that have done it already, because it doesn't really look realistic. When you start talking so much for the next 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you find yourself pinned against the wall of saying it, well, nobody's listening to me. This is something that I was missing. And this is something that you can learn by action with the people that you're working with. And it's called belief. And it's not that I'm just saying it. I see it. I believe it. But is it really in your heart? And that, my dear friends, is what the people are going to buy from you. They're not going to buy the company. They're not going to buy the product. They're not going to buy the management. They're not going to buy the leadership. They're not going to buy the system. They're going to start with you. How sincere you are that you are willing to help other person to be more successful than you are without being jealous, without regretting the day that you introduce him to the business because he's much higher and bigger earner than you are. That it's what we are promoting here. It's us. However, we are backed up by the company that it's solid, in place, great product. All of these things speaks for themselves. But we have to show to the world that we believe that this is a right company to change people's lives because of the structure and the nature of the business. So with that being said, Ruth, we just would like to convey a simple message. We do have a company in place that if you want to check it out, it's a worldglobalnetwork.com. go do your own due diligence on it. We do have a product that it's one of the first real-time health monitoring device that it can do all kinds of great things. And among others that you're very much familiar with is blood pressure, heart rate, sleeping patterns, step calories, and the whole 9 yards. So the
Tony,
product is in place. I'm sorry?
Talk about real quickly at this point in time the story you told me today and the importance of sharing your story.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Yeah. As far as you believing in something, as far as you truly believing that something is going to change your life, you shouldn't be ashamed to share that with the world, period. And it doesn't matter if that is just for you to do something on the smaller scale, or if it's something for you to do it on huge scale. As they said, gosh, find something that you like, make it a hobby, but find something what the world likes, make it a business. So as far as the sharing the story, that is something that I believe that anyone in the world can monetize the greatest, because all of that today is actually attached to the financial freedom. And if your story can reach millions of people out there, don't worry about the compensation plan. Don't worry about how many levels you're going to get paid. And don't worry about what kind of a car the company is kind of giving it to you, whether if it's a Mercedes or Audi or Ferrari for that matter. Don't worry about that. That's a given. Worry about you believing in what you're saying from the bottom of your heart, that it's going to not just, that it did actually help to you, but that it's not just going to help you, that it's going to help somebody else. In this case, this can save somebody else's lives. And that's something that I strongly believe when you really do your due diligence of understanding what this product does. And you will find tons of information out there. But if you are sharing your story as individual, as one, that's where is he going to stay. And you are not willing to share the story with the world, that's where is he going to stay. And you know what? It's okay, because it's going to satisfy you. But we found the way, not we ourselves personally, but people like us found the way how to make that on the same platform and how to capitalize on it in an honest and profitable way that most of the corporate world don't want you to be part of it, period. And all of these things are changing life. So I'm asking you to be an open-minded person, to get out of your comfort zone and listen to the messages Ruth says 7 times if you have to play this video, and 10 times if you have to play this video, to kind of wash out the information that you have inside and replace it with something new. Because I believe that the organ in our body that is the most important one, and every organ in our body is trained to protect that organ, is our brain. It is actually protected the most. It's in the skull. It's the, with all these fluids inside and the whole 9 yards. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to explain all that, but it's the most protected organ in your body. Make it work for you, because whatever it's in it, that's what the body is going to do. You might hear the words we're saying it tonight, guys, but you're not registering it up here. And there's a certain way how to make that impact of staying in your brain, so later on you can execute. Because working with a leader, it's not enough if you will not execute that into action. You have to do something about it. You have to do exactly what your leader tells you, and you have to do it over and over and over and over again. Until when? Until you don't have to do it anymore. Then the business takes over by itself. Then, ladies and gentlemen, here's the gravy. Then you make money while you sleep. Isn't that a bad thing to have in life? While you go to sleep, somebody else doing something in China, and before you wake up, your bank account looks different, because your heart was in the right place for the right reasons with the right people. Back to you, Ruth.
Well, absolutely. And, this product, Hilo, that you just pointed out, actually saved your sponsor's life over the weekend.
Yes, please tell us a
And
little bit about that.
Deja, Tony's sponsor, was not feeling good, and she and I talk every day. She lives in a different country, and Cyprus to be exact. And so her nighttime is my morning, and we always catch up then, and then my nighttime is her morning.
Hmm.
And over the last couple days, last week, she wasn't feeling real good. She's been traveling. She was stressed out, just a lot going on with her move to a different country. And her helo all of a sudden kept telling her that she had abnormal blood pressure and her EKG. And it didn't just say it was abnormal, it gave her a big red warning. So she decided, I better go see a doctor. And she went to the doctor, and they admitted her. They thought it was her heart. It turns out it was not her heart. She is okay. She's going to be fine. She is home. And in fact, she's sleeping right now. And when she wakes up, her tomorrow morning, my tonight, she will give me a call. But the interesting thing is that, the doctors always ask you a lot of questions. What have you been doing? How'd you, what made you think there was something wrong? And she told them about her helo. And the neurologist that actually did one of the MRIs on her is actually purchasing one for his mother. He is so impressed with
Hmm.
this product. And all Deja did, and she and I laughed and laughed and laughed about this. She's in the hospital. Her blood pressure is so high, they are extremely worried about it. Her EKG is off the charts, and she is telling the story of how the product made her go to the doctor, which saved her life. This is what you have to do when you hear Tony and I say, use the product, share your story. All of us have a story about how Helo can do good things for you, even if you're extremely healthy
Yes.
and Helo is just monitoring your vitals every single day. A lot of people, Tony, say to me, my Helo must be broken. Earlier today, it said my blood pressure was 122 over 78, and now it says it's 120 over 82. And I have to explain to people your blood pressure is never exactly the same. Never. It depends on if you're running, walking, sitting, sleeping, stooping, if you're stressed out, if you just ate. I mean, there's so many variables to it. But it is something that as you track it over time and you notice that your blood pressure is getting up into the 130, 125 or higher, some people usually about 130 or higher, you're getting into hypertension. And a doctor, unless you monitor through a doctor once a week, at least every week of the whole year, you're not going to know that your blood pressure is creeping up there. And hypertension leads to high blood pressure. We all know that that leads to heart attack and stroke and much more. And so, yes, Helo can save your life. And isn't it interesting that Helo saved Deja's life, and now she's in the hospital? And I said, what did the doctor say was wrong? And she goes, I don't know. I was so busy. He told me, but I was so busy telling him about Helo, I forgot. The ultimate salesperson. So when you hear Tony and I talking about sharing your story, folks, really it is that simple. Tony, you have a story today of somebody that a friend of the family, the same thing. They were telling you about this product. You're going, wait, you're talking about Fitbit. You think mine's a Fitbit. He goes, no, I've seen it somewhere. And you were like, I got to share my story. That is what it's all about. And there are people in this industry that try to make this all highfalutin and high tech and high touch. Guys, it doesn't have to be like that. People will get in business with you for who you are and the truth that you share with them, not the hype, not the vision of grandeur. Everybody is looking at grandeur in their life to some degree or another. But it is totally up to you at to what degree you live that through your home-based business. But you won't do it unless you have the shirt tail or the skirt tail of a leader that is going in that same direction. But what they have to do is be duplicatable.
Yes.
It's very simple for somebody to say, well, I've sponsored 250 people. Well, big deal. I'm glad you could do it, because this is what the people that work with these people are sitting in the audience thinking. How come nobody else on your team is up on stage with you? How come it's only you? The success of you and your team is merely a reflection of the success principles that you bestow on others. And if you are doing something that's too hard, too expensive, and not duplicatable by 90% of the people out there, you're going to be the only one on stage. And it's a lonely place to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, there's nothing worse than sitting in the audience thinking this guy's up on stage and thinking, or girl, and thinking that person only cares about themselves. And in a lot of cases, that's true, unfortunately. So what I'm happy to report is that with our team, you know, I'm not into the Ritz poshy stuff. People don't buy that at all. You know, there was a saying in this industry many years ago, fake it till you make it. And I always hated that saying. I hated it with a passion because people know you're faking it. They really do. Now, I'm not talking about don't dress nicely when you're going to functions and business meetings and stuff. But what I am saying is you have to be real. And people do not want to do business with you until they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not going to do business with you until they know that you have their best interest at heart. And I can unequivocally say with this team, that is the case. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't do this company for money, because everybody gets into business to make money. But I am going to tell you that as a smart, business savvy woman that's been in this industry and made a boatload of money, I haven't spent everything. So I'm in a little bit different shoes than, you know, some of the people out there. They come in and they're a one-hit wonder, and then they spend all the money and they have nothing to show for it because they wanted to show off. I don't care about showing off, folks. And Tony, I know you don't either. You know, you live a very nice lifestyle because of your hard work and pursuing the American dream. But let's talk about the American dream, because, guys, we have our hands on the American dream today,
Yes.
here, with this business right now. And what we're asking you to do is just follow along with us. Do what we do, pay attention, get in on the meetings, whether they're online or not. Tony, I'm going to turn it back over to you to 1 second.
Sure. And then, you know, basically, guys, here's the scoop that we do have everything in place here. There, we do have a people that care. We do have the company that it's proven, that it has a proven fact that they do have a great product. We do have a management, the leadership that it's in place, and we do have a system. So with that being said, we do have, you know, 2 words for you that are very important. Just do exactly what our leaders say, and we do have the system that is going to carry that message to thousands and thousands of people worldwide with protecting you. The system works. The system works for the team. And just as we said before, for all of the new people that are watching tonight, just simply get back to the person that invited you here. Or for those of you that they can see a couple of links below here, just click on one of them and you're going to see what the system does for you. So everything is in place, guys. And then I would say that a reason that you should definitely do something about it is because it's a necessity. It is a necessity. Why? Because we're going to either look for the side jobs, or we're going to be hoping that we're going to be able to retire on the amount of money that we kind of got used to it while we were healthy and young. But in order for you to have that residual income coming in, you got to start today. And then before you know it, the time will come that you're going to say, thank God I did it.
Yep.
And there is no better place to start than network marketing, in my opinion, because it will not interfere with whatever you're doing right now. It's going to actually expose you to thousands of people, thousands of great people out there that they do care of working as a team. So when you retire, you're going to have a much more friends. That's a great thing to do. And then before you know it, all of the things that we were saying, you will see that they're going to become reality. But we cannot do this as a unit, as one. We got to do this as a team. And you know what, guys? Let me give you bad news. This will going to happen with or without you. And that is the sad thing when some of you out there saying it, well, what do you mean by that? Well, there are so many people out there that are ready and willing to take an action. And then you're going to be sitting on the sidelines saying it, what about those people on the highway? I could have been one of those. Well, it's very simple. Just get off that exit, join the game, and play exactly the way everybody else did so you can duplicate that formula to somebody else. We have all of the things in place. Ruth, if you have any closing words, that would be great. Other than that, I'm done. We're going to have a next one on Monday, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to just give you much more information. We're going to be working with you, and we're going to show you that we do care. We're going to show you that we are going to be doing this with or without you. We're going to show you that when you show up here 2 weeks later, you're going to still see us here. And that means a commitment from the leaders. Back to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Tony. And thanks for stepping in there. I had to sneeze really bad. you know, you can't hide that. You know, when you got to sneeze, you got to sneeze. But I'm extremely excited about what we have with this team and with this company. There is so much going on right now, guys. And here's one of the things that has been reiterated to me by outsiders that I have shown this product to. This is the wave of the future. And in fact, Tony, I think the person that you were talking to earlier today said the same thing, that they see this product as bringing them up because it is the wave of the future. So with that, folks, I want you to pay attention to what we're doing and grab onto our shirt tails and just follow along. We're going to give you step by step, every step of the way on what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And all you have to do is show up with your smiling face. Literally, that's all you have to do. And remember, when you're meeting people, smile. Don't go up to people with grumpy faces. We're going to be back here tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for another hangout.
Yes.
And then we're going to have a live webinar at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. So you can go from one, which is a hangout, right into a webinar, which is going to give you all the details of what you're going to need to do to get started. And we're going to do that several times this week. We look forward to having you a part of every single one of these. Our goal is to grow your business with you. Not for you, but with you. Because see, when we grow your business, we grow our business. And it's only by working together that we will all succeed. So Tony, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a blessed family evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Guys, good night. We're going to talk to you soon. Bye for now.